we're going to get this thing rolling. We got you muted just because Oscar and Megan are going to introduce themselves and who they are and why they're here. And then I'll do the same thing. And then we're going to get right into the questions. Go ahead, Oscar.
Ladies first.
Okay. So I'm Megan. I came to Panama a little over 2 years ago as a Peace Corps volunteer. And I served for 18 months, just a little bit south of Boquete, where we live now. We're actually next door neighbors with Rod. We usually do this in a house together, but we're doing the social distancing thing right now.
Respecting.
So I joined on with Oscar and Rod officially last year in October.
May.
Yeah, unofficially in May.
Yeah.
Officially in October.
Yeah.
And so I'm the operations director. I handle the majority of logistics on tour. And I love sharing everything that I've gotten to learn about Panama in the last 2 years here with all of potential new expats.
And the other thing that Megan is very experienced is working with people in the farming side, like in the countryside, which is very key to understand a lot of the culture. Is very valuable and experience for us.
Take it away.
Okay. Well, my name is Oscar. I am originally from Colombia. I've been here in Panama since 2009. Before Panama, I used to live in Costa Rica for 3 years and a half, working in the tourism industry. I pretty much been involved with tourism since 2006. I moved here and I started working at the beginning with a resort. Then I become offering since 2010 services for interpreting private guide services for a lot of the expats that were moving here and doing private relocation tours since 2011. And one of the reasons why I love this is because regardless that I'm Latin American person, I speak the same language, but I'm also a foreigner, so I do feel the same struggle as other people can go to get things done, like how become resident, how pay the bills, how to get done all the inside scoops that people don't know when you move to a new country. New country has different rules. Some are similar, some are totally different. And well, enough time to learn everything about Panama and the culture, so I consider myself like the bridge between the two worlds. And very happy. And yeah, what else? What else should I say? Yeah, I guess that's just
Been working with Rod for...
Yeah, working with Rod and I, we know each other since 8 years ago, Rod. Is that right?
Yeah.
8 years. We be first of all, he hired me first as a private guide, and then we became friends, and then we became family, and now we're business partners. So now we're just next door neighbors. So it's been a blessing for us. Yeah.
Okay. So I will introduce myself. I'll mute Oscar. I have to do that all the time. And sorry, my name is Rod. I'm from Vancouver, Canada. I see we got a bunch of Canadians on here. What I'm going to do, because a lot of people came late and we now have like 80 people on here, I want to give the instructions to the people who haven't heard it. We're going to keep you muted. You can unmute yourself when it's time to ask a question. You scroll down to the bottom left and you'll see the mute. If you show your video, you will actually be on the front page with everyone else. So you people that are hiding yourself, feel free to turn your video on. The control is also down at the bottom left of your screen. Anyways, I moved here 8 years ago and I could do it. I said, I'm going to do this myself. So I just packed my bags, bought a one-way ticket, ended up in David, Panama. 3 months later, I was in trouble and needed help. So I asked around, who is the best guide that can help me get immigration, driver's license, healthcare, blah, blah, blah. And I actually went around to different businesses where we live here. And they all gave me one name, Oscar Pena, Oscar Pena, Oscar Pena. So I said, hey, I better check this guy out. So I hired him. We did some stuff. And like, we said, we became friends. 2 years later, we were doing tourism stuff together locally and expat relocation services. And then 2 years, well, yeah, a little more than 2 years, we started the group tours to Panama. So I moved here so when we do our tours, Oscar and Megan are the expertises of every place in Panama, the language, the culture, all that stuff. Then I get involved if you want to move your pet here, if you want to, with North American Panama finances, with, if, stuff like we each have our own niche, and you'll tell when you ask the questions who's going to answer what question based on, the skills that we have. So anyways, we're going to start this call off. Right now, everyone is muted, so feel free. The people who I can see, you can raise your hand or just unmute yourself and ask the first question. And I got Bob Raskins wants to ask the first question, right, Bob? I can hear you. Oop. There we go.
Oh, you can hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was just raising my hand to acknowledge I was there, but I guess the question I have, and it probably is too early to know the answer, is how long do you think it will be before they allow people to start coming back into Panama, or has that already started?
Yeah, I figured that would be a first question. And I think if all of you guys are interested in Panama as a country for relocation, or many of you have just arrived here and holy crap, what have I got myself into? So probably should be the first thing we begin with. Panama, the UN released an article, it was in Spanish. And by the way, anything I cite here, any articles, will be in a follow-up email that you'll all get from me tomorrow. They released an article last week of Panama being a leader in the world and how they're handling this thing. And I don't want to get into a discussion here, become political on different nations and how they're handling it, because the key is how we're handling it, because you're interested in coming here. So they locked down flights months ago from infected areas. They locked down airports weeks ago to 100%. They set curfews. Today we are in quarantine. We're allowed to leave 1 hour a day based on the last digit of our ID. And that's for groceries, pharmaceutical, medical, and banking only. Now, when a lot of people hear that, oh my God, totalitarianism, there's no tanks and there's no army in the streets, folks. This is Panama. We don't have a military. This is being controlled by police, peace officers, and the health department. And the fine for being out is you're not being dragged and thrown in a dungeon. You're going to get a $50 ticket. And if you don't pay it, you're not going to get your driver's license next time. So, it's all in order, stuff like that. So we have about 50% of the cases per million that North America has, and we're in total lockdown. So I honestly believe Panama could be reopened in a month or so, because they're going to nip this thing, they're going to flatten the curve. And once that's done, like other countries have done it, Singapore and South Korea and even China, but
I am very hopeful then by the 15th of April, we'll have, even by the 7th, we'll see like if the peak is already down or it's already flat. Like Rod said, I'm very positive that things will be back to normal no more than a month.
Yeah, we've already moved our April tour to other dates. We moved our June tour to other dates. Our May tour to other dates. June could happen, but we're not going to do it if it's not safe. Everyone, there's going to be no penalties for moving. You can move as many times as you want, and we will get you to Panama. The April tour was difficult. We'll be honest, we took a hit, but it doesn't matter, because our promise to you is get you your tour in Panama. If we have to put more tours on this fall, we will to do that. So my best answer is we are doing things right here. We're doing things good. We're going to be out of it. It kind of depends on the rest of the world, because we're not going to open up flights internationally to countries that are severely infected. But get more information to read about. I don't want you hearing from me. I want you to read what the UN says. I want you to read our president's speech 2 nights ago about how this country. I'm very happy to be here. They're all, I'm contacted by the Embassy of Canada. Hey, do you want your repatriated flight home to Canada? Heck no. I want to stay here. I feel much safer here. So I'm not taking that flight. So I hope that answers your question there. Okay, let's move on. Who's got the next question?
Karen. Hola, Karen.
Who's answering?
We can't hear you, Karen.
Oh,
You can unmute yourself, Karen. Maybe I'll.
hey, Karen, how are you?
I think maybe your microphone's
Yeah.
not working.
Oh, maybe your microphone's not working, Karen.
Yeah, we cannot hear you. We
Yeah,
can
because
see.
you're unmuted, so your microphone might not be working. Do you want to, you can type it in the chat if you want.
By the way,
Yeah,
I
if you
wanna
want to
say
take your
too-
question in the chat here, I'm going to direct chat you.
yeah. Well, just 1 second. I just want to say to all of you, thank you so much for being present right now. That means a lot for us, taking the time. I know we have a little bit more extra time, but anyways, we will love the support and let's having a good time, good conversations.
There's my dad. Hey, Dad.
Hi, sweetie. Can you see me?
I can't see you.
El Jefe.
Yes. How are you?
You need to. There's a video button down in the left-hand corner of your screen. You need to press probably.
Oh, start video.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
There you
There
Ah, there we go. Okay, good. Now we're on board, and we can hear you and see you.
Hey, guys.
You guys
Hi.
look great.
We just learned something new.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm working my way through it. Aunt Carol, your aunt, asked about because she wanted to check in and see what you guys have to offer and things, and that's how I kind of got the link and we're able to hook up with you guys. So
I think we always, Rod, we send out a link afterwards with the recorded version too, right? So we can always forward that to her.
Yeah, but you told me not to send the link to your dad, so I didn't. Oh, so-
I found a way around it there.
I think Lenny and Tracy are on too, I think.
I know,
Yeah.
and Uncle Chuck and Aunt Mary Lee.
Oh, good, okay.
Support tonight.
okay, we got, as you guys are waiting to ask questions, we got a bunch of questions.
Well, I
Yeah.
know a question that my parents have had and that a
Mhm.
lot of people have coming down to Panama is about healthcare.
Mm.
Yes.
Each one.
Yeah, it is a really good one. Yeah, I mean, what can we expect as far as cost? Or is it as good that we see here in the States? And can we still keep our health care like we still have here in the States and still sign on in Panama if we would move there? It means a lot to us older people here. So, you know, so.
That's a long question. Do you want me to get started in that one, Oscar?
Yeah.
Okay.
You handle that. You're the
Yeah.
injured.
You can do that.
Depends what you need. If you're looking for an international healthcare coverage, you come to Panama, you travel to other countries often, stuff like that. It's going to cost you, like, it depends. If you're 55 like me, it's going to cost you $150 a month. If you're 65, it's going to cost you $300 a month. If you're 70, it's going to cost you $500 a month. And that is what international plans here are. There's no copay. It's 100% coverage in Panama with a deductible of anywhere between $2,000 and $5,000 outside.
Hmm.
So it's very affordable. Like, you don't get stuck. Okay, I had heart surgery, but I still owe $20,000. Like it's nothing like that. It's 100% covered. That's for the international plans. They're obviously the most expensive, but from people I talk to, especially in that people in that 55 to 65 range, it's very affordable compared to the US. If you're in your 70s here and you're looking for health care, there are other options. You can get what they call catastrophic insurance. It covers 8 conditions. And that's heart, accidents, cancers, some hemoglobin stuff, like blood diseases. I don't have the whole list, but in front of me, I always send out healthcare stuff in the follow-up email. And that can be very affordable. Then you can also carry your Part B back in the US for your US folks. So if you did get sick here, you could go back there and get some coverage also. So some people do it that way. Some people use you know, they're funded quite well, so they use a copay system. There are excellent private hospitals throughout Panama, excellent. And there's several of them with plans that you can pay at 65 as little as $100 a month or 175 a couple to get 70% coverage, and you pay the 30. So let's say you go in for a $5,000 surgery, you'd have to pay $1,500 of it, and you're covered for the rest. But you're also covered in copays like $15 doctor visits, $40 specialist visits, tests, stuff like that. So there's lots of excellent plans there. The one thing to know is you can't have any of this health insurance unless you become a resident here or in process of a resident. But it's good to know if you've decided Panama's for you, you need to check this stuff out before you come. Because if you go cancel Part B of your Medicare or Medicaid and then try to reinstate it down the road, the fines are ridiculous right now. And as you know, in your country, your medical coverage changes every year. So does it here too. There's different things available, different plans available. The biggest problem in Panama they come across, especially in the international plans, is pre-existing conditions. International plans do not cover pre-existing conditions. What does that mean? A pre-existing condition is not high blood pressure. A pre-existing condition is diabetes, a recent valve replacement of like heart bypass surgery. It's major surgeries that you have. Typically, if it's not detectable in the lab or a big scar across your chest, it's probably not going to be a pre-existing condition. So even people with type 1 diabetes who just control it, taking some pills, and they won't test positive for it because it's under control, that's not always considered a pre-existing condition. The other plans, the copays and the disaster plans or catastrophic plans, will cover pre-existing conditions after a period of 1 to 2 years, depending on the condition. So after all that, is there anything I can clarify there?
You said there until you become a resident. So
or in process of.
Pardon?
Or in process of.
Or in the process of.
Oh, in the or in the process of. Okay.
See, what a lot of people were doing, they were coming down here, getting an international plan, then going back to the States and using that for coverage and paying $300 a month for 100% health care.
Yeah.
So they had to stop that. So, you know, so you have to be a resident here, and you're going to have to prove that you live here more than 6 months a year.
Okay.
If you want to use that insurance elsewhere.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other, while we're on the topic, we can, before we close it off, do we have any, Tracy?
Oh, yeah. Hi, this is Jake. I'm Tracy's son, but
Okay.
Hey, Jake.
Hey, Megan. Hey, Oscar.
Yeah.
Hey, Uncle Greg. Hey, Aunt Robin. Hey, Chuck. Hey,
All families.
Mom. Hi, Dad. So I just had a general question about, you know, you kind of said it at the beginning of how when you go to a new country, you have this entire list of things that are like, okay, how am I going to handle my healthcare, you know, travel, money coming in, and so on and so forth. But I was wondering about if you could speak on the number one thing that you were nervous about that was actually the easiest when moving to another country, if that makes sense.
Well, we help make everything a lot easier because we've all done it.
Yeah, there is a lot of sometimes in the process to get things done in foreign countries, especially in Panama, like you guys call the red tape. And sometimes it's extra red tape for simple things. The determination to cut that red tape, it will be even just how you approach the agent, how you approach the situation. Simple as that. Because in Latin American culture, it's all about manners. And if you come to a Panamanian or you just say, hey, I need this, the person will think it is rude, and you will start with the wrong foot right away, and it will not facilitate. So because I've been here for so long, we will be here. Sometimes all it takes is how you approach the other person And I have been in situations when I have helped a friend of mine to export a vehicle that was brought from the States. She had 2 lawyers and other 5 people trying to send it back to the United States. There was no possible. And everything was done just because how I approach other people. And I just kind of like, it's a mental game sometimes. It's like, help me to help you, literally. So that's the benefit for us is that we know all the things that we don't have to do nothing special by just understanding the culture and also speaking the language and also like knowing how are the rules of the game. And basically it's very simple. For me, it's very simple because I'm lucky that I can just connect easy with a lot of people.
For me, I would say the thing I was most nervous about was learning Spanish.
Yeah.
And I really stressed myself out about it coming here when I shouldn't have, because once you get here, first of all, it's not really necessary in Panama, especially if you're in an expat community and you just have a smile on your face. People are willing to work with you, and body language goes a long way. And if it is really important to you, Panamanians are really patient and happy to practice with you. And if you keep at it every day, you'll get there.
Yeah. As long the Panamanians will melt if you with a big smile say, with a bad accent say buenos dias or buenas tardes, and they will just like they just put the effort there. They will melt their hearts and they will help you, and because people here are very sweet and very willing to do stuff. But of course, everything comes to how you approach it.
What about you, Rod?
Yeah, well, I think for me, like what Megan says drives me nuts. 2 years, she's fluent in Spanish, folks. Now, me, 8 years, I can not really construct a sentence yet.
Yeah,
So when I first got here, it was a huge problem. Things like getting my driver's license. Oh my God, I would stay up at night. How am I going to do this? But there's people like Oscar that work all over the place. Now, it took 7 years. Now, finally, last time I went for my driver's license, I could do it all by myself. It was really, good. So I've come a long way since then. But the language, but I'm in Boquete, so there are 5,000 other people here just like me. So it's not really an issue. I'm still learning. I'm still trying. I do my best. I think it's important that we try to be polite to my Panamanian neighbors and their workers I'm with. So I have learned all the greetings and how to be polite with them and stuff like that. So that probably would have been my biggest one. Mm-hmm.
Plus, Rod, you still speak Canadian.
Yeah, I know. So.
Thank you.
Okay, Ron.
Ron,
unmute Ron.
Okay, thank you. And hello, everyone out of Virginia. I have 2 questions, Rod and Oscar. The first one is rental properties.
Mm-hmm.
Are most of the rental properties, say in the Boquete area, are they furnished properties?
Yeah.
And the second question here is, is there still U.S. military there in Panama?
No, there's not.
No.
The only part of the U.S. as far as military level would be CIA training with our own special ops on drug stuff and things like that. And we do military exercises here.
Yeah, but also the U.S. Coast Guard, they have a decent distance from the canal, either on the Atlantic or on the Pacific side of the ocean.
They're international waters. So
yeah, international water, but they're kind of like approachable because since 2000, when it was officially giving back the Panama Canal to Panama, it's still Panama Canal is still like under the wing, in a way, under the wing of the United States. So there's still
I was asking that question.
Corporations there, but nothing like official. There is no army here, no like interference with the U.S. military at all.
Yeah, I was stationed down there at Howard Air Force Base between 1984 and 1987. Lived out in the Albrook area, and I was just curious as if they were there. So you answered that question. So thanks.
Yeah. Well,
all that area, they turned all the bases into condos.
Yeah.
More offices.
Yeah.
Howard, Albrook, all those areas, they're all condos now.
So are those housing units out there in Albrook, are they still standing? Are they dilapidated or anything like that? Or
yeah. So one of the areas that is very common, a beautiful neighborhood, is Clayton, which used to be a lot of the military bases.
Army.
It's a beautiful neighborhood. A lot of people that work in NGOs live there. What else? One of the airports that was owned by the U.S. Military in Rio Hato now was transformed into another airport called Santa Clara Airport. They bring a lot of charter flights from Canada, but that's tourists, 100% tourists. And the old military airport, Howard, in Panama Pacifico, now is a commercial and private airport. There is actually a low budget airline called Wingo from Copa, then it flies from there, and also some cargo flights like Delta, what is these companies?
Air Panama.
Air Panama, Howard only goes Wingo and,
Oh, Panama Pacifico.
or sometimes when it's some extra official or cargo airplanes bringing some goods to Panama.
Okay. Thanks, Oscar. What about the rental properties that say out there in the Boquete area? Are they furnished, unfurnished?
Yeah, well, mostly furnished, about 90%.
Yeah.
It depends what you're looking for. Like I live in a rental in Boquete, in Alto Boquete. And mine is one of the unusual ones. It was only partially furnished. It had all appliances, beds, stuff like that. Oscar
It was.
in one also, but most of them do come furnished. And they can
Yeah,
range anywhere between $450 and $1,000 before you get into the really high-end stuff.
Yeah, I guess it's all about your budget. The house the Rod and I live, it's very similar homes. They're actually family members, the owners. The house that we're renting in is non-furnished. And yeah, but it's furniture here is very affordable. Electronics is very affordable. It all depends on the budget. You can get from stove from $100 to $600.
You can pretty much find anything you
Yeah.
need in Panama, but it's also extremely easy to find a furnished rental.
Very easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you, guys.
Mhm.
Ron is coming with us in September.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Looking forward, Ron.
Yay.
I'm looking forward to a lot of fishing too.
Yeah,
Yes,
there
sir.
we go.
We got 2 oceans. How about that?
Yeah, and you got those rivers too, that good old peacock
Yes, sir.
bass.
Oh, yes.
Hi.
Okay. Well,
Oh, wait, I can't,
Tito,
can you
John
hear
Francis.
me?
Yeah.
Okay.
we hear you.
I was gonna go back to the thing about the health insurance, and you said that if you're a resident, that's not a problem, it's easy to get, but what if you are like, have a pensionado and you're not really a resident? Can you still get the insurance? Health
A
insurance?
pensionado is a permanent residency.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That was my
Yeah.
question.
There we go.
I-
And it's also the easiest. The easiest and the most affordable process, as long as you require all the paperwork.
This is
Okay.
why, people, Panama is year after year after year in the top 3 places to retire. It is the easiest place to get residency, and the residency here is permanent. As opposed to if you, let's say you go to Thailand, every 3 years you got to go back and pay another $2,500. And that's very similar in many countries around the world. But here it's a permanent residency card. They can't take it away from you. They can't, you never have to renew it. You just got to get a new card for $25 every 10 years. So,
So, Rod, you've written a lot of blog posts about moving to Panama.
yes.
Have you got one that's like a checklist, like with dates of what you need to do to get residency? Like on this, like 2 months from coming into the country, you need to do these things?
That's an excellent idea. I have a question there to read out. I would like to do it, but I have to split it up because based on the legal side of the residency, it changes every single month.
Yeah.
The lawyer will give you his checklist. And just recently, your marriage license had to be, what do you call it?
Apostille? Apostille?
No, it now has to be apostle, but it used to have to be notarized.
Yeah.
And in 2 months, it'll probably go back to notarizing. So, so they have a full list of that. So it's
Okay.
basically a 3-month process. You start at 90 days out, you start your criminal background checks. And then you find that original marriage license. And then you find your birth certificates. The one thing that's a real problem, and this is a problem with the U.S. Embassy here, is driver's licenses. Once you get your temporary residency card in Panama, which only takes 3 weeks from the time you start, your U.S. Or Canadian driver's license is no longer valid. But it takes 2 months to get an appointment at the U.S. Embassy to get your driver's license authenticated, which you need before you can get a Panama driver's license. So what you have to, so that's one of the new things that has just started, that they're recommending get your arrival flight date and stay 1 night in Panama City and get the appointment at the embassy for the next day and get your driver's license authenticated in Panama. Then go to where you're going to be living, and then within 3 weeks, you can go to the driver's license place with your temporary card and get your driver's license. So there's tons of complicated stuff like that that changes all the time. The bringing your pets in changes all the time. But I do want to make up that list because there's a whole bunch of other things people don't realize. What to do, how connected do you want to be? Do you want to keep your same phone number? There's many options that you can do that here. By using IP services on your cell phone, that you can transfer your phone over. What are you doing with your mail? Well, that's a great thing to get done before you move here. So you need to get a mailbox, etc. thing here. So you can send all those documents down. A bank account when you get here. 2 weeks before you move, you can send all your documents down here to a bank, and when you arrive, they'll have an account open for you. So there's tons of stuff, but that's what we do with all people. And on this call, I have a list of you guys, and I've kept it. Hope you don't mind, because all of you are free to, ask us those questions down the road, and we'll help you with it, whether you're coming with us or not. A lot of you are coming with us on tours, and maybe some of you guys, when all this stuff boils over, we'll decide to too. But that's what we do. We hold the people's hands as they make that move. We got 4 in process right now of people coming here. Yeah, and it's not a daily thing for us, and we can do it because we only bring 10 people a month to Panama. We don't bring hundreds, so we have the time to help you make that move. Mm-hmm.
Can I ask a question here?
Yes, you can.
All right, so we're not ready to retire yet, but so how do we go about organizing a trip there? Is that what you and Megan do, Oscar?
Yes, that's what we do.
Okay.
You can
So
check
we-
out the tour itinerary on our website.
And,
I can just send it to
and
you.
also we do customized private tours. So there's always an option.
Okay.
How about investments?
How about investments, Uncle Lenny wants to know? Big surprise, right, Meg?
You don't have to be a resident to invest in,
No.
in anything in Panama or
No.
buy in Panama.
You can own a business, you can own a property, you can own a vehicle, you can own anything here in Panama without being resident or citizen.
That might be
Okay. I think, Oscar and Megan, do you think we should catch up? I'm going to read some of the questions.
Yeah.
Please.
And because otherwise I'll get, some people came here for specific questions and they typed it in. So I'm going to read them and we're going to answer them. Where are we? What's the status of 5G rollout in Panama? Do you know that one, Oscar?
The 5G?
Yeah.
Well, no, we don't have 5G. We used to have 4G. Right now, the highest data service that we have in Panama is called LTE,
Which is 4G.
Which is 4G, but a little better, I think, according to what they advertise in the commercials. But it's very reliable data. And there was some glitches for some companies. Like I have my cell phone with these companies called Digicel. Now it's very reliable. I wasn't able to get it here, the full LTE Boquete. Now I do. And it's very fast. I can stream videos, YouTube, do calls, and no problem. But that's the way we do it, is with the LTE. We don't have that 5G.
And in all major towns and areas in Panama, you'll have just fine signal. Unless you get off into the country in the jungle, then you might not have decent signal. But, and you can get an unlimited data plan here for around $30 a month. Or if you just want 5 gigs a month, that would be around 15.
Yeah, the data here for cell phone service is very affordable. I pay 300 minutes and unlimited data, like $25 a month. It's very affordable. And on top of that, I mean, I don't use it because if I'm home, I just save my data by just being connected on my Wi-Fi. And the other thing is the very affordable here is the internet service in homes. Right? I pay 50, 60 megs of that internet speed, like 200 channels cable for and telephone service for $55 a month. Not bad.
Comes with a home phone line.
Yeah,
We don't use
so
it,
got
but
all the services and it's only $55. That's a bargain in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. From Ron McBride, please explain the process for getting our pets to Panama. Well, actually, Ron, I'm not going to do that on the phone on this call because that would be the rest of the call. But if you go to our website, retireinpanamatours.com, and just in the search box, type in pets. I have a complete detailed 2,000-word article there about bringing your pets to Panama. Yes, you can do it. You can do it yourself. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars on pet relocation services. Just everything, every single thing in the article, I update that every month because things change. Once you get here, we can offer a service of, depending on where you're deciding to move, we can offer a service to meet you at the airport, help you through immigration, get your luggage, yourselves, and your pets to your final destination also. But if you have any direct questions, for those of you who don't know, it's retireinpanamatours.com. Again, tomorrow you'll get an email from me. If you don't want any more emails from us, just reply back. You'll get an email with updates in this call, a link to the recording, and a link to our website where you can contact us. Okay.
I got one question here is about asking the difference in weather conditions between Anton and Boquete.
You're jumping ahead, Oscar. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Pardon me?
Said you're jumping ahead.
Sorry.
I'm trying to do one question at a time so if we don't.
Oh, I thought we went that way already. Sorry. My bad.
What is the status of COVID-19 testing? We've always had enough test kits to test everyone that needs testing. I think that's a comment. I think 5,000 just arrived. 5,000 doesn't sound a lot to you guys in the States, but we're 1% of the population. So 5,000, that's 500,000 tests in the States. Mm-hmm. So, Karen. Oh yeah, Karen, you couldn't get your microphone. Karen wants to make a comment. Karen is coming with us in October. My comment is that Panama, oh, by the way, Karen is a doctor herself in the, oh my God, Karen, you're going to kill me because in the field, it's in the field with analyzing stuff like we're having here. And she's the director of a hospital lab. She feels Panama will open up long before the U.S. will open. Panama has really done a great job in lockdown. I hope I can make it on my October tour. Thank you, Karen. And what are the marinas in Panama like? And what are, what are the marinas in Panama like and the boating opportunities? Oscar.
Marinas, we have officially marinas in Panama City. We have in Colón on the Caribbean side. There is also in Bocas del Toro and in the main island, but it's the best one is called the Red Frog in the island Bastimentos on the Caribbean side. And also the, where is it? It's just by outside the Colón, Shelter Bay. That's another marina. And in Pacific side of near the Panama City, there is one by the Cinta Costera. There is one by the Amador Causeway. There is like unofficial marinas, like places that they have services like in Boca Chica. It's about an hour and a half from Boquete. There is a place that you can store your boat. You can leave a park. But potentially there is people that wanted to invest to build more marinas in the Pacific side. And Puerto Muelles, close to the border to Costa Rica, there is a project to build a marina because long time ago in the 70s, I believe, there used to be Chiquita Banana operating from that side. And they took off, but there is another company coming back. And once they come back, which is still in the process, is going to be another marina on that side. Fishing opportunities in Panama, well, if you, I will tell you what it means Panama is abundance of fish. and butterflies. That's what it means, Panama. So we have plenty of fish. One of the best world records of tuna is here in Panama. We have marlin, we have mahi-mahi, we have rooster, we have snapper, sea bass, tons of sea bass, mahi-mahi. And if you ever happens to come with us, we'll take you to the seafood market in Panama City to have a very fresh sea bass. Right, delish.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Are there ways of making extra money besides online? My husband and I will be living solely on Social Security. I actually do a whole talk on making money online in Panama, what you can do legally, what you can't. There are a lot of opportunities here. I think for my own town, we need more house sitters and dog sitters. If you're a pet lover, there's one major dog sitter moving away from Boquete. And we have so many dogs and so many expats. That's my dog sitter. So yeah, people do
Dog
that.
training.
House sitting, dog walking, grooming. I'm only talking about pets. There's people doing, have opened up restaurants, like if you want the business side, restaurants and garages, like auto shops, stuff like that. Lots of entrepreneurs here. You can open up a tour company and compete with Oscar and me if you want.
There's very cool things to do here too, like in the hotel industry. There is a lot of places there is like blooming away, like in the peninsula of Azuero, for instance. There's a beautiful spot after Pedací, and it's becoming very popular. So it's opportunities here for people for investment in entrepreneurs is plenty.
Yeah. Like even back. Sorry, Megan.
A lot of expats own hotels, hostels, restaurants.
But even small backyard stuff. There's a guy that moved here years ago, and he did framing, picture framing.
Yeah.
Nobody in Cherokee did picture framing. He made a fortune out of his shed.
Yeah, I'm still. Sorry, and to interrupt. I'm still waiting to make some disaster barbecues and the worst margaritas.
There we go. Yeah. No one else here knows what that means. Okay, Oscar, here's your question. What is the difference in weather conditions like mold between Valle de Anton and Boquete?
Okay, so Valle de Anton is lower elevation than Boquete. It's a little bit more humid.
They're similar. They're both mountain towns, so it's similar. They're cooler than the rest of the country, but everywhere in Panama, you have to be careful with mold.
Especially on the rainy season.
Especially in the rainy season. If you leave a pair of leather shoes in your dark closet, they're going to be moldy in a week.
Yeah. So for those situations, the best precautions is to have the humidifiers during that rainy season because it's extra humid. Open windows, check in things, and definitely every few days, any leather things you have like a belts, jackets, shoes, you just
have them in the open air.
And clean it up. So that's a
sunny area.
Exactly. But it's manageable.
Yeah. You can, a lot of people put fans on. If you got fans installed, you have to leave the fans running in the rainy season.
Yeah.
Keep it dry. You can get those things to put in your closets that work well. But I did have that happen. I had that leather jacket I bought in Bogota, Oscar, and it was in the back of my closet for a year because it didn't fit me anymore. And I took it out. It's just full of white. It's full of mold.
I did that with my Birkenstocks last year.
Okay. I got that one. Great question.
And
This is for you too. Is it hard to find a rental in Las Tablas for $500 a month?
Oh no. It's very easy. Like, boom.
Probably not going to be American style, but decent Panamanian style home.
Well, for that budget will be a decent home.
Yeah, it'll be a 2 or 3 bedroom probably.
Yeah.
Easy at 3 bedroom. Easy.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi.
Can you hear too?
This is Tito.
Who's that?
Tito.
Sorry.
Tito, yeah, you go, Tito.
Okay, I just wanted to ask, we were planning on staying in Panama, not to start like maybe about 2 months at a time. Is it easy to do like a short-term rental less than 6 months?
Yes, it is possible. However, depends which months you're coming in the year. You must book way before. Because if it happens you want to come in January, February, you want to reserve and book like, say September, the year before, the year because those are the peak months. And
About November
That's the
to
latest.
April is high season, so it's going to be harder to find a rental and it's going to cost more.
yeah,
So if you come April to October,
June,
you'll get great prices
Yeah.
and you'll get your pick of rentals.
yeah. If you pick like 2 months, April and May, great weather, the best weather you will have actually, and it's low season in Panama, so that'll be very affordable. You'll find good options and decent price.
Okay. How secure is a friendly nation visa in terms of continuing to encourage expats to come to Panama and invest in small business as a way of generating income and support? I'll take this one. I think the Friendly Nations visa has been one of Panama's successes. I don't see it going away. I could see it's insanely low price. It's insane. They require you to put $5,000 into a bank account, which 2 days later you can take out and use to pay for the visa. So I could see that going up. There was some talk, I talked to our lawyer a while back, and there was some talk about that when the new government came in, but nothing ever happened. So I don't see any problem with it. It's known around the world as the best visa available. I think Panama's pretty proud of it because people come in and they create jobs with it. So I've created many jobs. Oscar's created many jobs. It's just what happens. So, okay. I got a great question from Pamela. What kind of shots do you have to get when you move to Panama? I suggest tequila shots. Okay.
Or bourbon.
There are no required shots. If you're planning to go hiking in the Darien jungle, I would get a malaria shot, but that's not going to happen.
Yellow fever.
Yeah, yellow fever. Yeah, thank you, Oscar. I always recommend, I've traveled throughout Asia and now in Central America, I always recommend the Twin Ricks, the FAB. But I think if I would eat at some of the US barbecue or street barbecue kitchens, I'd want that one too. So there is no requirement for coming into Canada right now. I should change that. There is a requirement if you fly through Brazil and a couple of other countries, you need your yellow fever, right, Oscar?
Pardon me?
There is a requirement for yellow fever, but that's only if you fly through Brazil, I think it is.
Yeah, Brazil, that is the only one that cannot require more. But definitely, if you're going to the Amazon area, you need to get at least the yellow fever shot, at least.
Okay, I got a very important comment from Ken Wozniak. Rod and Oscar and Megan provide the best tours, going places that the big buses don't go. Remember that, folks? I said we're not promoting anything on this.
I just can.
I'm just
I saw
reading
you.
it. You guys can all see.
Commercial.
When are you coming here? Okay, this is an Oscar one. Is it better to import a vehicle or boat, or is it better to buy it in Panama? Are there good choices to buy vehicles?
I'll say better to buy here in Panama because it's not that it's possible, but depends on the vehicle you bring in. They actually make sense. You can get service, parts, and everything here in Panama. It will be the only way that will make sense because I have seen people that bring some brands like a Buick. Nobody can give service to those cars, and you can not find parts, and it's just not feasible. So the easiest way is just sell it in the States and come to Panama and buy one here. There is a very decent prices. Most people use here Toyota or Isuzu or Ford. We have very good agencies for Ford. We have Renault, we have Mazda, we have Nissan. And then you have all the budget. You can find a compact car for 10 grand, brand new, or you can have a mid SUV for 20 grand, like a Kia Sportage. You can get a Toyota Prado. That's one of my favorites. It's a very strong car, very reliable, and it's a tank. That car goes anywhere. And you can get that one for 46 grand, more or less.
Okay.
Brand new.
We usually suggest 4-wheel drive to
Yeah.
Panama, and everything here, most cars here are diesel. Diesel's more affordable in Panama.
Yeah.
If you say the word catalytic converter to a Panamanian mechanic, they won't know what that is. So the emission systems here are very, very different. So if you import your vehicle, and you have a problem with your exhaust, and guess what? They're cutting and welding a piece in, and you're dealing with that light that's going to show up on your engine forever. And you lose resale value because you can't hide the fact that you imported the car because your speedometer is in miles, and in Panama it's kilometers. If you import your car on the friendly nations visa, you get the exemption for import duties, but when you resell it, the next person has to pay those duties. So there's as many negatives to importing a car than there is positives. If you're in love with your car, motorcycle, boat, yeah, do it. But other than that,
Yeah, and if you're a pensionado, you can be deductible some taxes, but you will have to pay in the end more fees for the lawyer because you have to prove all the paperwork, and it's gonna take longer the period. So unless it's very, very necessary and you're really in love with that vehicle, yeah, better just get a new one here in Panama.
okay. I'm considering moving to Puerto Romulas, Panama. Do you visit it on your tour, Oscar?
We're not visiting Puerto Muelles currently. We have been several times. Puerto Muelles, I'll tell you from my perspective, it's a place that have a tremendous, beautiful opportunities, but it's not there yet. It will. How long it's gonna take? It could take 3, 5, 10 years. Who knows? Because until there is no serious investment in infrastructure like security, convenience stores, because Puerto Muelles from David is about an hour and a half, 2 hours almost. You have to go through 2 checkpoints, and it's right next to the border to Costa Rica. So it is not the best, the most safe area. It's not like so dangerous, but it's definitely not like Boquete or.
It's not that convenient.
It's not that
to
convenient.
have to drive 2 hours to the closest major hospitals.
Exactly.
Malls.
Yeah.
So it is affordable land. It is. Right now you can find beachfront in some spots for like under 100 grand. But the thing is we feel like it's a little sketchy in a lot of the areas you can find very affordable land. So unless you want to like put some money and let us sit there for a while and not worry about it, yeah, I mean, you can do that.
It definitely could be an investment opportunity. It
Yeah.
has a lot of potential.
Potentially
we don't think
has.
it's there yet, so that's why we don't take our tour groups there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a short-term investment, I would say.
Yeah. All right. From Ron McBride, thank you for your information regarding pets. We're on the July tour. Yes, Ron, I just noticed the last name there. If you ever want to give me a call, Ron, it'll take about 30 minutes to get through all the pet thing. I can help you set up a budget, what it's actually going to cost to do it and all the process. Or we can do it through email. Feel free anytime. I'm quarantined. I'm here to talk about pets. Okay, let's go with any changes to the law introduced by the new president, real visa application or benefit. There hasn't really been any changes by the new president. Everything's the same. All the benefits are the same. And Zion, do you need to take a written test? This is a good question. You can take a test and not worry at all about getting your driver's license authenticated by the U.S. Embassy. If you're Canadian, you can get your driver's license authenticated by the Canadian Embassy in 3 days. But if you have people are taking the option of just taking the written test here, they offer it in David now in Cherokee in English. And I got a guy with a list of questions. So there we go. So you can get it done quicker if you want and not worry about the authentication. But if you plan it ahead, you can get the authentication done. The lawyer, well, the good lawyers, the lawyer will recommend you, will send you also another method where you can get your driver's license authenticated in the US. And it's actually more difficult than in Panama. There's 2 places you got to send it to. And their biggest question, the DMV will be, what? But it, we can work that out so you can get it done. What is the plan for establishing an international airport in David? Well, it happened 4 years ago.
Yeah.
What do? They $1 million project, international airport, customs, lengthening the runway, and the FAA came to inspect. It was too close to all the fuel storage, so the United contract was canceled. So
Yes,
I don't know. A couple
it
more
was.
years, Oscar. What do you think?
Well, it was an investment of $30 million when they renewed that airport, and they make it nicer, a little bigger. And that was under the administration of the ex-president Ricardo Martinelli. And you will think after $30 million, they will do, like they know what they're doing. But turns out they built a land strip too close to the gas storage. So United, they supposedly will be operating United Airlines or Delta, but yeah, I mean doesn't go with the international rules or protocols for safety. The only international flight they operate from David, they sometimes go also off and on, is with Air Panama to San Jose, Costa Rica. Only that one. But from David with Copa is very easy to connect to United States or other countries in the world. You get a Copa flight in the morning, get to Tocumen. In Tocumen, you sometimes will do a 1 hour, a couple hours layover, and then take off to your final destination.
Yeah.
That is feasible. That's very possible, and makes Chiriquí one of the provinces, the most agile province in the country, besides Panama City.
Hey,
And
Oscar, we got about 20 questions. I want to go boom, 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 boom like that, and then reopen it for it's Oscar. He goes on and on and on. It's incredible sometimes. But we're already at the hour, and we only and 30 minutes will get all cut off. So
Sometimes diarrhea doesn't help.
yeah. So we want to try to get through because everyone typed these questions out. So I want to make sure they're answered. Then we can reopen it up for questions because I'm sure people have thought of a lot of things. Now I'm going on. How is the housing market in Boquete? I can tell you across the country, it's a buyer's market right now. Barely one of the strongest buyer's markets I've seen since I've been here. So that's a good thing, but we're not going to tell you to buy something if you move here. We're going to tell you to rent something for the next 6 to 12 months. It's just makes a smart move. Even if you got the money sitting in the bank, doesn't matter. You might not like the area you buy. Okay, Donna, this is a great question, Donna. This is very important stuff. Would operating a small business like a pet sitting or sewing alteration require a friendly nations visa instead of a pensionado? Technically, yes, 100%. You need a work visa in Panama if you plan to earn money from Panama sources, whether those are residents in Panama or citizens of Panama. Now, recently, a pensionado opened up a restaurant, and you can do that, but you're limited to what you can do. You can manage the books, you can manage your hire and fire staff and do the scheduling, but you can't wash the dishes, you can't clean the tables, you can't work the cash register. He was. He got a disgruntled employee squeal on him, and he got fined $10,000. He does it again, he'll get kicked out of the country. So if you plan to open a visible business that you're going to have some Panama customers, yes, get a friendly nations visa, get a work visa. It's the cost difference is about double, because if you guys want to know, we have mentioned this. Pensionado, I'm going to do singles, add $500 for the couple. Pensionado, about $2,300 to $2,400. Friendly nations, about $4,500. So, and that's the process. I see a further question I'm going to answer at the same time. About 4 months right now. What happens if we have a backup after this virus thing? It could be longer, but right now from start to finish, meaning you have your ID card in your hand, it's about 4 months. Okay. Let's talk about Pedicee. Living in Pedicee, Oscar. Oscar has been there 100 times. I haven't. So tell us about Pedicee.
We love Pedicee.
Definitely, it's a beautiful spot. It's it's a smaller town, lots of culture. In that side of Panama is where it basically resides all the culture. It's a lot of European influence, or a lot of the most European heritage, like the Spanish influence from centuries ago.
There's a lot of parades, festivals. It's where all of the typical dress and costumes are made. The Panamanian sombrero, the shoes, the big dresses. And Pedicee has an expat population of a few hundred. few hundred expats in Pedestal, and they blend really well with the Panamanians there.
The sense of community is very great. Everyone knows each other. The fishing is amazing. If you like sport fishing, is amazing.
Great surfing.
Great surfing for people that are into surf. You can get very expensive yellowfin tuna for under $6 a pound. It's so expensive.
They have a lot of great restaurants too for such a small community. Great bakery.
Yeah, great bakery. There is a French bakery. Yeah, delicious. Very good. Fair amount of restaurants. In Pedestal, you have 2 beaches that you can go. One island. There is a national reserve. It's called One Island, and that's from the side when you go to town. The beach is okay. It's nice. It's swimmable, but when you take like a 15-minute boat ride, you get to an island. You can do snorkeling. There's a lot of reef, white sand, and it's only 15 minutes away from.
And there's a lot of affordable housing options.
Yes.
Too. Okay, we're done.
Yep.
Okay. Bob wants to know about Jello shots. Okay. Okay, this is a good question, also. You're going to have to help me out. This is from Dr. Karen Cantor. She's a pathologist, people. Like these big words, I always miss those. Now, she has a specialized vehicle for Curtis that's totally customized. It's a Chrysler minivan. Is there a Chrysler dealership in David, Oscar?
What? Sorry?
Is there a Chrysler dealership?
Yes, it is.
Yes, there is.
Yes, it is. Chrysler and Dodge, and also they manage Mercedes too.
Yeah, I figured so because I've seen a lot of those minivans around here. Karen has they have a customized minivan with a lift. So we could visit also the Chrysler dealership and get some information on what the difference would be to get one of those here too, Karen. So what are your thoughts in terms of developing small business operation? Okay, I'll save this one for Oscar. I don't see him in the picture. From Diane, I got an international driver's permit at AA they said AAA, sorry, in preparation for my relocation. You know what, Diane? I did the exact same thing. Just throw it in the garbage. You wasted the $50. It has no value. Even in 1954, people, there was an international treaty signed that these international driver's licenses would be, and then now this place is online doing it and AAA doing it. They're only for dignitaries. That's the only people that Panama recognizes them for. If you are an embassy staff, foreign embassy, stuff like that. I brought mine here, flashing it around, and the cops look at it and throw it away. Where's your driver's license? So totally useless. Here, Oscar. Development small business opportunities regarding fishing, water tours, property rental in Playa Vieno near Pedestal. What's that area like? Because I know you.
There's Playa Venao.
Yeah.
Okay. Playa Venao, it is a very famous destination, a tourist destination. There was an article, there were going to be flights, and one airline is going to come into Pedestal. Pedestal is only 30 minutes currently from Playa Venao. They're doing expansion or working on the road to Playa Venao. There is a gas station. Playa Venao used to be more like in the middle of nowhere, remote. But now there is a lot of developments going on. There is hotels, there is hostels, there is tons of restaurants for the area.
It's mostly just a tourist town, Venao.
Yeah, but it's
not
growing.
Many locals that live there,
Yeah.
but there is money being put into the area with this new tourism minister. And it was just in the newspaper that there will be a commercial airport in Venao or in Pedestal, and a new paved road put from Venao to Pedestal, which would be huge, but hasn't happened yet. In Panama time, that could be a while.
But it's still, even after Playa Venao, the peninsula keeps going down for another 2 hours south into the Pacific. You can go to areas like Cambutal. There is some people, they have opened a very luxury yoga retreat spot over there, and land is tons of land. So once you come here, check it out. There is opportunities will open. It's more feasible to develop the whole area of Azuero versus Puerto Armuelles. I'll tell you that. like that's some place that if you want to invest, it will be insured because that area is gonna keep growing more and more every year.
Okay. What is the status of the new Federal Mall in David? That's a great thing. We're going to love it. Although I moved to Panama to be away from that stuff, they're opening the second largest shopping center in Central America, 25 minutes from my house. Now,
Yep.
the anchor stores have already opened. They opened 3 months ago, and the movie theater, 8 theater, like big theater, the pharmacy. Now, of course, they're all closed now because we're in quarantine. But they were saying end of March, I don't know, maybe May, June. We haven't seen the total inside besides peeking through some plastic, but it's coming along. So I would think by summer, we should have a full mall there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're going to have some delays with
Yeah.
the current situation, but I would say that the latest June, we're going to have a full operational mall.
I'm just happy with the 2 huge new department stores and beautiful new movie theaters. They're great.
Shopping. Yeah.
David, I get this question a lot, and a lot's going to change in the next 5-10 years with this question. What services are available for elderly person requiring long-term care? Not a lot, but they are starting because that's not Latino style. When people get old in North America, like my family and my parents, nursing home, $4,000 a month. That's not what they do here. They go back to one of the kids and they share them. So now that Boquete has such a huge population and aging, there's a new one in David that has opened up. I was talking with Magda Crespel, our insurance agent, about it last time I was in her office. They got quite a few beds, and it's full long-term care for $1,000 a month. And there are going to be more of those open. Right now, what a lot of people do, when you rent homes in Panama or buy homes, a lot of the times they will have, a good majority of the time, they will have servants' quarters. 1 bedroom with a extra bathroom in it and stuff like that. And a lot of people hire live-in help. Now you can hire live-in maids for $300. You can hire live-in professionals for $500. Someone with some qualifications in home care, maybe for $700 a month. So that's what a lot of people do. They bring in some help, but there are some stuff being available. So, okay. Karen, is payment of duty required if you buy items from Amazon? If it's over $100, they charge you 7%, which is the sales tax here in Panama. So, but there are some places that don't charge any. It all depends if it gets stopped at customs. So, but not really duties. We don't have a ton of duties. We have duties on vehicles and boats and big things, but on basic consumer goods, you won't see a lot of duties on cross-border stuff under $500, but you will see the 7% tax. Oscar, will the government let people that have Cédula cards after the ban lifted? A Cédula card is as good as a Panamanian passport as far as entering and leaving this country. So you are a permanent resident of this country. You have all the rights of a Panamanian except 2. You can't vote and you can't protest politically. Is it just politically or is it all protest? What's that?
As a permanent resident, not citizen, can you just can't protest politically or all protest?
No, because you're not under. You have some rights. You have some benefits. Having the e-cedula, because it's kind of for transactions, paperwork. It works like a Panamanian ID, but doesn't give you the right to vote. Doesn't give you the right to other situations, and definitely will not be smart if you want to be part of the protest. Yeah. Because they can revocate that from you.
But as far as getting in and out of the country, yes, you won't have a problem if you are.
Yeah. No. You still have to use your passport.
Yeah.
Once you come into the country, you just show your e-cedula and you just
show both.
Yeah, we actually have a permanent residents have a special line at customs and everything, immigration. So, where they don't ask you many questions. Okay. Now, the email questions. Oscar, you have no idea how many questions we have. I'm going to try anything we haven't answered. Can we use our Roku device? You can use your Roku, you can use your Amazon Stick. To get some of the services, you will need a VPN, like Hulu or Amazon Prime, but Netflix works here. They have Roku-enabled TVs here. So everything works good. Internet is fast.
Cable service is pretty good. You can have a full package with all NFL, sports, news, everything.
English.
Okay, documents necessary. We talked about that. Coronavirus, we talked about that. Jobs, we talked about that. Your visa option. If you want to come here and work, if you say I'm moving to Panama to find a job, I get those every day. Number one, Panama is 1/100th the size of the U.S. for population. We don't have a lot of jobs. Panama has no problem with staffing its own people. If you want a job in Panama, 99.5% of them would require fluent Spanish. And you need a work visa, which takes 6 months to get. Very few companies will sponsor you to come in here for a job. I did it with, I was in the IT business when I first got here, and I had an office in Panama City with a bunch of programmers. I couldn't find enough here, so I brought them in from Venezuela and Colombia, and we would sponsor them, but very few companies would do that. But before they're legal, it still takes months. So don't think you're going to come to Panama and apply for a job. It's just not here. You can come to Panama and open your Friendly Nations visa and start your business. You're welcome here. Okay. I think we are going to open it up for questions. We've gone past our time already. So follow-up questions on, or if I tried to go one by one. I don't think I missed anything. We still have, okay, we've had some people drop off. That's fine because I told them it was only going to be an hour and we went an hour and 15. But who has questions?
I have a question.
Okay. Hello there.
Hello, my name is Dee. I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Hey, Dee.
Hey, and I'm pretty serious about going to Panama, but I have a question about the paperwork that I could do prior to coming versus coming back here on a round trip and then getting the paperwork started.
Yeah. See, the process is if you come here and you want to start your visa, you got to stay 3 weeks.
Right.
You can't do it in a week. Don't let anyone tell you to, because if you leave before you sign the documents that come back from immigration, then they're just going to cancel, and all the money and all the work you did goes to nothing. So I always recommend people come here first, check it out. If you like it, come back and start the process. Because every time you come here, you get 180 days that you can stay, and the process only takes 120. So as far as documents in need, we talked about that at the beginning of the call. That's when you get in touch with a lawyer. If you need one, contact us. We can refer some good people, and they will give you a checklist of what you got to get done. It's all timely though. If you go and get your criminal background check and then 4 months later decide to come to Panama and you bring that background check, it's useless. It's too old. So you got to do things at the right time, and it changes a lot. So Dee, the best question is make that decision of whether you're going to come visit Panama first for a week or two, check out if it's for you, and then come back. Or if you're just going to move here and stay here, then you need to get hooked up with a good attorney. And I really stress that. There's a lot of not so good ones here. Send us an email. We can help you out there. And they will give you the checklist of what to get done and the timeline it needs to get done. There's not really that much, so don't stress about it. There's 5 you got to get.
Well, this is actually my question. Do I have to do all that paperwork while I'm in the States, or can I do it from Panama if I decide to?
Way easier to do it from the States. You get
That's what I thought.
Yeah, you get an FBI criminal background check, but it has to be current. You can't get one and then decide 6 months later to move yet, right?
No, I'm pretty much, I'm
So
like a horse trying to get out of the stable right now.
Yeah. So, and there's things like marriage certificates, birth certificates, whether to get them notarized or apostilled. Your lawyer's going to tell you that. You need, if you're going for pensionado visa, you need an original letter from Social Security stating that you have a pension for life. There's not really that many documents, but it's better to get them there because getting the FBI background check here is very difficult.
Okay, let me ask you this. So let's assume I come on a tour, I come back to the States,
Mhm.
and then I get the checklist started of all the things I need.
Yeah.
I mean, let's say I can get that done in, what, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, and then send it down there to the attorney because they need to translate it into Spanish, right?
Yeah, well, you're gonna scan it and send it to them. They're gonna tell you whether or not everything's right, and then they're gonna do
Yeah.
the translations required. But then they
Mhm.
don't submit it until you come here because you got to go with them. So they're gonna drive you to the immigration office, either in David or Panama City, and you're going to have your picture taken, and you're gonna well, actually, in 3 weeks, I'm not taking the picture, but you're gonna sign documents, and then they're gonna take you back there in 3 weeks to pick up your temporary ID card.
Okay, so let's say I come back here, I've got the documents, and I can actually make a plane trip to go down there, even if they haven't translated into Spanish yet?
Well, they will be ready when you tell them the day you're going to arrive. Everything will be ready to go. Yeah.
See, I thought I had to wait for them to translate it before I would go there.
No, we have people arriving in Panama City and the next day going with the lawyer to immigration, or arriving.
Oh, so it's up to me. That's awesome.
Yeah, they need your original documents, but they don't need your originals to do the translations.
Okay, so I could get them the documents, and then I could decide when I wanted to go there. And once I'm in Panama, then I could start the process
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
with the attorney. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because I can't wait.
All righty. Who else has questions?
Hey, Rod, Dave in Seattle. So if you're thinking about going on the tour, do it. We spent 3 years going to Costa Rica to explore, and we learned the same amount of information in 10 days with these guys. So it's definitely worth the effort. And number two, so Rod, seriously, so are expats treated differently during this time of isolation than the Panamanians, or is it pretty equal? I know I've read local articles about like people like setting up roadblocks to keep people from getting into their cities and stuff.
Yeah, it's been early. I haven't noticed. I'm not being treated different. I look more like I'm an expat than Oscar does. But so, hey, it's the truth, folks. Come on. But it's the problem. They did set up roadblocks, but it wasn't. It was Panamanian against Panamanian. It was one province not wanting to let a virus-free province not wanting to let the residents of a virus problem of a virus province into their area. So that's all really this lockdown is serious, guys. We have to, if we leave Boquete, like go 5 miles out, we have to have proof that we live here to get back in.
Yeah.
I'm not letting you go across provincial lines or between cities. But I think if they do that hard to begin with, then they can end it sooner and we'll be done in 2 weeks. For me, it's not a problem. I'm a total introvert. So people not showing up at my door is perfect for me.
Yeah, absolutely. For us introverts, this is great. I'm digging it. So.
Yeah, I'm in heaven right now.
Anyways, thank you for the plug, Dave. Dave was one of our very first members in our group tour business that we started, and him and his wife are coming down here. Like there's everyone's at a different stage. Some of you still working, but we have lots of people that are working that are taking the tour because they're trying to make a decision. And maybe it's not Panama. Maybe we have people that have checked out Belize, checked out Portugal, checked out Costa Rica. Now, Oscar and I and Megan love Panama, but you come in here, you'll know whether you like it or not after spending a week with us.
Yeah, it's worth the time. It's worth the time and effort.
Yeah, we'll do a very easy soft sell. No problem.
Yeah. And the process is when Dave and Bridget say, "Hey guys, we're coming," boom. Then we get on our little group calls and okay, we need this, get this together, that together, and what are you doing here? And we walk people through the entire process. So.
I have a question. I'm Frank, this is my wife Pam, and we're from Houston, and we're very serious about coming to Panama. And my mother-in-law is 88, and we want to bring her with us. And she's going to live with us. And so what kind of difficulties would we see there trying to do something like that with public transportation, or just, how can someone who needs a walker get around, and what's that like for someone?
Oscar?
Well, with this disability? Like,
No, just with a walker. It's possible. I would say, I mean, as far as getting around towns, like sidewalks aren't a big thing here, so that is a little bit difficult, but
it depends mostly if it where area in the town you will be living. If you are in like where we live is we don't have much of the sidewalks, but it's also not much traffic, so people walk on the street and it's safe. In downtown Boquete, say there is lots of areas that have sidewalks, but drivers and people are very respectful when anybody has in a situation like with the walker, the wheelchair, and even like the cross lines and intersections. People are very respectful to that. And in big cities like Panama City, there's tons of sidewalks, and other towns also like Pedací, Valle de Antón. It is feasible, definitely. It is feasible.
What about the public transportation?
Public transportation, that will be the tricky one because in some small towns, the public transportation are just the minibuses. So they're very tricky even for someone like you to get in and get out.
there are a couple stairs on all of the buses.
Yeah.
So you'd have to take that into consideration.
Yeah.
Well, she's in good health and she's sound mind and she gets around pretty good for someone who's almost 90. But I think we're thinking if we visit and we fly into Panama City, then we're really interested in Boquete. But just getting her from Panama City to Boquete, I want her to see it so she agrees to it, not just because she's like, oh my God, what are you doing to me? But that she likes it. I mean, so I guess best would be travel by air from Panama City to Boquete, to David.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
close
You
to
can rent a car in David too, and come up here and tour by car.
Yeah.
Or taxi. It's $20 from David to Boquete in a taxi.
More than that. From the airport.
From the airport, they'll
from the
charge you
airport,
more.
35. Usually from there.
But there are elders in the area, right? People that in that age range, and I mean there are other people in the senior age range. I mean, I'm in the senior age range, but I mean in their 80s, and so I'm assuming that people live to old age, reasonably old age there in Panama. So
Actually, you'll find a very interesting thought. I've been really wanted to do a survey in Boquete. The Panama life expectancy is only 2 years less than the U.S. is.
okay.
But there's way more older Panamanian people here than I've ever seen. Like they seem to last into their hundreds here. Like it's crazy. So they do get around. But the difference is, I think Oscar can attest to it, they're not used to nice sidewalks and handicapped slopes. And they've never had that in their life. So they get by. This is what I've helped elderly gentlemen into a taxi because they're struggling to get in and there's nobody there, but they're used to that. They like we see them walking down the street. There's a lot of 80-year-old, 90-year-old people in Boquete, even locals. But healthcare is one issue you have to consider, of course. Like, what are you going to do there? That's something that we talked a lot about healthcare. She won't be able to get no type of international plan. There are some of the plans that don't have age requirements that she can get, but
she'll keep her Medicare Part B and her Part F. If she had something extreme, we would just go back home. But she's got enough means to certainly pay out of pocket for anything that came up that wasn't drastic. So that's our plan there. She probably has better chance of, she would absolutely have no chance of paying out of pocket here.
But even in like the public hospitals, like Oscar, grew up in Latin America and he's used to the public hospitals. His child was born in the public hospitals.
Yeah.
I know a guy in Panama City 2 months ago got a hernia surgery, 3 days in a hospital, is $175. He was an American guy. So the public hospitals, although for me, I get kind of scared of them for they can be used for a lot of things.
Right. Now, you said no shots are required, but, you know, I'm thinking Hep A, she has never had that. And we're not taking her into the Darien. You know,
No.
that's just not going to happen with her. And in fact, we're thinking Boquete because honestly, mostly what she does is sit and she watches birds and she likes that. So, you know, it looks like a great place for her to do that, drink coffee. And
Yeah.
she still likes that. So,
Coffee and
but,
she'll love Boquete.
Oh yeah.
yeah. So if she gets a hepatitis A, we should be covered on most of the stuff.
Yeah, well, the
right?
hepatitis ones is the Twinrix, it's called. Which I think
okay.
yeah. That's
Well,
the only shot I get. So, but that's just me personally. So
I would say enough services for her to have a very life quality and an affordable. God forbid, if she needs an emergency, the private hospitals will be way more affordable than the United
Right.
States. The public hospitals is a bargain. My
Right.
son was born in a public hospital. It was a preemie,
Oh.
5 days, and like the section where they have the premature babies and everything with the labor and everything. I paid literally $150 total.
Well, she is at an age where her idea is, you know, not so much therapeutic care as just
Yeah.
comfort care. I mean,
Yeah.
she doesn't, that's her own choice, but she doesn't have any big health issues. But she knows she's close to 90. So she, you know, I think that, like I said, if she came up with something and she really needed the care, she would just go back to the US. I have siblings here, so, but otherwise, I think she could get your regular run of the mill. Like if she has an upset stomach, she can go to a doctor.
Yeah.
And pay her pocket. So.
And we have some
That was it.
many
Thanks.
local doctors in Boquete too.
Okay.
Okay, did we freeze up there? Okay. Daniel here has a question. Rent a modest lifestyle in Petitcie. Ballpark 20,000 a year, 30,000 a year, 40,000 a year. You could do it on all three, definitely. In Boquete, I can live in 1,500 a month. And I'm one, so two would be 24,000 a year. So yeah, in Petitcie, you could live on 20,000, 30,000, or 40,000. Just depend where you start out. Your biggest expense is your house. Whether you pay 500 or 1,200, right there is your big expense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. What's the cost of processing the retirement visa? Oh, Dan, it's about $2,400 for one, an extra $500 for the extra person for a couple. I'm just trying to get to the last minute questions because we have 4 minutes before this thing goes boom. It actually doesn't do that. It just turns off. But cost for the retirement, yeah. Okay, last minute comments. Oscar, what do you think?
Pardon me?
Last minute comments. We're on our last 3 minutes of the call.
He was
Can
slacking off.
I say anything?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, well, this is Megan's father, and I said, my daughter joined the Peace Corps, and I said, what the hell am I doing going to Central America? And I got off the plane in Panama, flew to David, and found these two, and took me from David to Boquete, and I said, why would I ever want to leave Boquete? It is the most beautiful place I think I've ever seen, and I really can't wait to get back. Yeah, what I'm still doing here is amazing.
And this is coming from a guy that doesn't like to travel.
No. I like where, but Boquete, Panama is beautiful. The people are wonderful. You guys are doing a great job, and I can't wait to see you guys again. And we're going to be spending some time in Boquete.
Oh yeah.
Can't wait.
We're gonna take it to some cool spots.
One of the most beautiful places in the world. I can't believe it. So,
Right on.
Thank you, Jeff
Thank
Francis.
you very much, Thompsons. Anyone else? Hey, Karen, did you get your mic fixed? Nope. I can't unmute you. No, okay. We'll talk more. You know, you can call me anytime if you got other questions. But I wanted to meet Curtis. Oh, well, next time. Oh, he's sleeping already. Oh. Okay, who's got questions? Last minute stuff. Countdown is on. Oh, we still got 4 minutes. Still 50.
Thanks for everything. It was great.
Guys.
Our
Thanks for
pleasure,
joining.
Pramila. Our pleasure.
Thanks.
We'll see you
Hey,
next
all.
time or next video call or here in Panama.
Look for the email tomorrow. I'll do a recap and the recording if you want to share it with anybody. I'll send you some links of how we're handling this COVID thing, and everyone stay at home, wash your hands, and let's get over this thing in the next in this next month or so and get our lives back together and our green Panama back on a roll. All right,
Thank
folks.
you very much.
Have a good night.
Very active.
See ya.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.